Hello everyone, this is Janet from Mixed Media Mama. I just want to come to you today to show you my design team project. Now this is for Jodi Livingston. She goes under by the name of Rjetcreations. She's on Instagram and Etsy by this name, and so I will put all of the necessary information down below, how to get to her Etsy. And what I am going to show you today is my very first design team project. I have been selected along with a few other lovely ladies, very talented ladies, to showcase Jodi's digitals. Now, Jodi is an artist in her own self, but she is just really very talented on putting all of these digitals together. Now, I am not a techie. I do not do digitals. I do not know how, but I cannot imagine the hours and the time that must go into putting every little bit of or stroke or how it's all done. I'm not really sure, but she has so many lovely digital kits over in her Etsy. So when I became her one of the many design team members, I asked her which kits, and she said she gave me basically free reign. So what I did, I wanted to make the first thing showcasing as many of her papers, of her digitals as I can. She's got many collections over on Etsy. So I ask you to just, after you've seen this video, to go to her Etsy and really look at her digitals. She's got some really, really cool ones. A lot of background papers from a variety, from old gypsy wear looking to books to oh goodness, to lots of ephemera she's made. So just go take a look, follow the link down below and head over there. But I'm so excited because this is kind of a new thing. I wanted to use a greeting card excuse me, a greeting card first. Actually, this right here is a birthday card my mother gave to me. So I use this as the kind of the outer case. This is not the front cover, but I use that. Of course, this had the birthday greetings underneath there. So, but I just put it together, and then there is the back greeting card. And then, of course, this is the actual cover the hardback cover. So I thought that was really cool. And so I will try to point out all of Jodi's digitals. I just combined everything. She does have a theme to each collection, but I just wanted to put as much as I could in. And you can kind of tell it's kind of a chunky monkey here. I just tied it with some beautiful lace and put a little bit of an arm doily there, and to really hide the binding of the whole journal. It is a 2 signature. You can kind of see there's 2 signatures. I left the tails on. I made as many tucks and tags, but you'll see it, you guys. So this is part of hers, and of course I tried to tea dye or coffee dye all of my papers. Then I printed all of her digitals on the coffee or tea dyed. And either I backed them with another piece, or I backed them with another piece of her paper, her digitals. So I won't exactly tell you each one's, but you can kind of get the gist of it and see. So that's just a nice little tuck pocket right there. So let's go on in. So the first thing, the card opens up, and of course it has that beautiful saying. And this is the actual envelope for the card that my mother sent me. And I think she picked this card out specifically in knowing that I do this and I like to repurpose things. So I just pulled this lovely lady out, put it into the oval frame, and I think it just fits to a T. So I made that into a tuck spot. And What I used also into this whole kit, I used her digitals, but I used nobody else's papers except my own tea dye, a little bit of my own ephemera of wallpaper. This is an aged wallpaper that I had just gotten on an estate sale, and then her digitals behind here, and then just a little ephemera piece tag right there. And so I just put that in, and that is a nice little tuck spot. So then I go into, on the other side, you can see, and of course that is part of her digital. So she has a lot of postcards, a lot of tags. And I just love how my coffee and tea dyeing goes. So this is the actual cover of the book. This is a piece of wallpaper, and I just put a nice little tuck spot. I just love how she can take, and if I remember right, I think I saw on the, now this is going to look darker on here because it is printed on coffee dyed paper. If you print the same image on white regular copy paper, it's going to be much brighter. So the tones are down, or toned down. I mean, the color is toned down quite a bit. And so I just put that, back that up on some ledger paper. And same thing. So if you see that this is a vintage look, and that's the reason why I wanted it to be a vintage look, because that just, to me, that just gives it a especially in this journal, I wanted to. So inside the front cover, I just had a tuck spot. And of course, I want to bring that up. All of this is hers. She does all of this. This is just looks like an ordinary collage. She did all of this on, this is her doing. And of course, this is her doing, and all of this, except this. I just put that little thing right there. So that's just amazing. That takes a lot of time, I know. So some of the papers I have just shrunken down, like this one I just shrunk down. This is a full 8.5 by 11 size paper, and I just reduced the size to it because I wanted a smaller. I wanted some of the smaller. Again, this is just a journal page. And she, going back to her ephemera, 1856, so it's definitely out of the copyright laws. So, but isn't that just so pretty? And of course, this butterfly is muted a little bit because once I printed a set of all of her digitals on copy paper that was tea dyed, and then I went back in and I printed some of those things, some rice paper, some of those things on some really premium matte paper that's a little bit thicker. Oh my gosh, the vivid colors just popped. It was just really, really pretty. I had an old vintage coaster. I believe my mother-in-law, this came in the same collection of my mother-in-law's fabrics. And so I really kind of cut it down because it was really thick, and I made it into a nice little tuck spot. And where she gets these vintage, these images, I really don't know, but it's so pretty. And of course, I just put some vintage vintage wrapping paper. That's vintage wrapping paper. Got that at a garage sale. And here's some vintage wallpaper that came along with the same line. And here is a nice little tuck spot. Now, this bingo card came in a big 8.5 by 11 sheet. I just cut it down and I made it into a nice little tuck spot. That is an image that she put together. And then another postcard. So her images are really very versatile. And I know there's a lot of botanicals here, but it kind of gives, and of course that's hers also. It kind of gives, and of course you can see it's the same. It gives a generalized, but it is very precise. You can theme your whole journal or your project to whatever you want, because in her sets, in her collections, she has such different themes. I really love on premium matte paper. This pops. These blues just pop. And of course, on this other side, I had this. So this was, she had gotten a hold of a Canadian Pacific Railroad Company receipt, because this is, you know, the accounting department of I can't quite, June 18, 1912 maybe. But isn't that so cute? So this is actually printed. This is not as vivid as it would be if it's on regular white copy paper or regular matte, premium matte. I think it's called premium matte photo paper. But I just printed this on tea-dyed paper, and I absolutely love it. And so, and you can tell, excuse me, you can tell that this receipt is definitely on tea-dyed coffee paper. I just love that. Love that. Put some ledger paper in there. This was really fun. I just really enjoyed it. Now this was a bookmark. She put that into a bookmark, and this is an actual, I just took the back of that basic paper notebook, and it was the front cover of that, and so I just put a little piece there, and I made it into a flip open. Here's another bookmark. And this is definitely very, very much more vivid on white paper, because she makes beautiful, beautiful, and I reduced down the size. Usually they're about a 3x4, and they're just wonderful tuck spots, but I really reduced it down, and of course then I printed it on coffee dyed paper. And so that's what made it, really mutes it. So there again. And I put my pages vertical versus horizontal. I love the differences of sizes. Isn't that little boy just cute holding those flowers? That is just a nice little card. So you kind of get the gist. So I'm not going to explain every single one. I'm just going to kind of go through everything. Now you've seen the front cover. I like her colors. I love the versatility. This is a nice little thing, is that I took one of her bookmarks. I took another bookmark, sewed it onto a piece of plastic, and then put it as a tuck spot. Can you see? Yeah, you can see that. I hope it's not too, there we go. Yeah, you can see that is, it's just basically a tag upon a tag. And I made this tag with the plastic as a tuck. And there is another piece of her digitals. A nice little place to journal. Some writing paper. Oh, look at that. That is putting all of those images. That takes a lot of work. It takes a lot of work. I just don't have that. But I love and I admire. So this is a nice little fabric flip up, but I use scraps of her papers. And you can see some of them are definitely hers. Some of them are just some vellum, some writing paper, some ledger, some old-fashioned pattern paper. And I just glued that onto a nice, and it just gives it a nice little place to write. Some dictionary. Okay, and here is a wonderful page, a nice place to tuck a lot of stuff in. I reduced a lot of hers down to probably 60%. This is in her Gypsy collection, and it is so, I love the images. Love the images, because they're just so much fun. Look at that. They're just so much fun. Love and of course, they're going to be much brighter. You got to remember that. And here is printed on white paper. I did not tea dye or coffee dye. So you can see how the difference between the two. And I just folded up a doily right there. and put the items in and make it into a nice tuck spot. There, so it holds a lot. I'm really glad, and it lays pretty flat. Okay, just a nice little envelope I decorated with her papers, except a little rice paper and some lace. And this was fun. This is just that corrugated, and this is what I was kind of talking to you about. Just taking a piece of plastic, and a lot of the times I keep the plastic off of the embellishments that I would get, or I can even use, now this is a thicker piece of plastic, but I even use the transparencies, those transparencies you would put on the, you can get them at any office supply store, and I glued her on this side, and I glued another one on the other side, and so it's a nice little tag, and I put in there. So, and here's just a nice another little tuck spot. Some original pattern paper from the early 1920s. Back then they did not have the lighter color patterns. They had just this type, and then you would just cut it out to size, but there was no markings on it, so you had to read the pattern instructions. So I thought that was really, really interesting. That was that's vintage. That's my mother-in-law's pattern paper. And this is just made out of a cookie envelope. You get sometimes when you go to a bakery, they give you cookies or pretzels or whatever you order, and that's what that is. I just saved it. A lace on there sewed around it, and that is her another coffee dyed digital. So there is a lot of tuck spots, and I love how things just peek out over the top, and how I can just really use up some scraps sometimes. Okay, that's the center of the first signature. Look at how wonderful it is. Remember, again, it's muted. These colors are muted, but I still just love these colors. Now, I kind of did a Jodi here because she is well known to make tuck spots like this. It's kind of like a triple decker. But, if you go over to her Etsy store, you will see many of these. And she just has a knack. So this is her style. I'm just kind of replicating. This is not of me. I thought since this is her things, this would be appropriate. So just some more tags, and I just had leftovers, so I just collaged on the back, so there's still some writing spot in there. Now, journals are made to either write, to paint, to mixed media, or to actually hold pictures. I had someone ask me, what do I do? I've never had one. What do I do? And I say, you do anything you want with them. Oh, I love that. I just think that's beautiful how that turned out. I say, you do anything you want. Make it yours. You can take out all of the stuff. You can leave it in. You can make it just you. But use it. Use it as a diary. Use it if you don't write. Use it as you put pictures or articles, things that really you love. Put it in there. It will become a place for you to go, and just kind of a refuge. And so that's what I really like about journals. And Jodi makes it really easy because of her digitals. Now this is really fun. Another little cookie envelope or a cookie sack, and so I'm going to take everything out, and of course it's on that back side of that corrugated, but I made a little envelope right there, and I used one of her digitals as a little card in there, and it tucks right behind that little thing, and this can go here, behind here. Next one. It's just fun. This is just so much fun when you get to have and behind the envelope, and then a nice little tag left over. That's just a leftover off of her. I had a little tiny little scrap, so that was perfect. And of course, I used a glassine bag, and this is the behind. If you can look behind, you know, this Grand Continental and the Bingo and all, that is one sheet of hers. So I just added some stenciling, a little die cut, Tim Holtz die cut, and some washi tape, sewed it, and put some book pages on the back and put it in. That's a nice little big tag because I like things sticking up. You can see how it sticks up right there. I love those frillies. It just makes it unique. There we go. There we go. Things were drooping on me here. So there again. So this is printed on a white piece of paper that was not dyed. I just inked around and made a nice little tuck spot right there, and added 2 pieces of ephemera, and then backed both of them with the same type of page. And then added another little Tim Holtz and a ticket. You know, things you can, that's the great thing about journals. You can make it your own. Same thing here. I used her page to make a envelope type thing for this nice big tag. You have many areas. I used a piece of fabric, vintage fabric, as a flip. Her pieces. So I have 1, 2, 3 4 pieces that are hers, 5 pieces. I just, see, I never try to throw away things because, you know, you can still use and here is a nice little tuck spot too for a piece. So this is the back cover. That is the back. Isn't that just lovely? And here's the back of the card. And of course, I used it as a tuck spot. And that also is in her digitals. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 just within this 2-page right here. I mean, you can see how wonderfully versatile her digitals are. So please go over to her Etsy shop. Like I said, I'll have the descriptions and the links in the description box below. And I so thank you, Jodi, for giving me a chance. This is going to be a great journey. And thank you for all of my subscribers. Thank you for subscribing and following me. I've got great things in mind. I'm already starting on February's design team projects. So take care. Thank you so much and have a great day. All right. Bye.